Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to NFT Live, Web3 Network, New Year 2024, shaping up to be a great one. I'm sitting here with Biggie Poppins. I am Nifty Q. We are going to co-host your adventure into the NFT scene today. Good to see everybody in chat early. We are just getting started on today's episode. We're going to go through the NFT and Web3 scene for y'all. Drop anything you got going on, because there's a bunch of stuff happening. We know that it's picking up. ETF incoming shortly. We're all doing what we need to do. Holy water, anything we need. But yeah, exciting times here in this space. A lot popping off, a lot of different chains, a lot of airdrops that we'll touch on here in just a moment. Biggie Poppins, thank you for co-hosting with me today, man. It's just going to be mano-y-mano today.
Dude, I've been counting the days. Are you kidding me? Man, I don't know, man. Between crypto and this show, I'm just too addicted. But seriously, I've been just jonesing to get back with the fam, OVOT people. You know, it feels like ages ago. What do you think of my new digs, by the way? I got kicked out of the house. Not kidding. I'm kidding, folks. New room. New year, new room.
I think
new possibilities.
I think you need a plant in there, Biggie, for sure. A piece of artwork that you always are collecting and stuff like that. But otherwise, you're looking good, man.
That's the plan, man. That is the plan. I'm maybe even thinking of taking like a page from Huda and putting like a green screen up there.
Ooh.
So I can do like some fun stuff, something of this sort. It was like a last minute thing that my wife proposed, and I was like, well, let me see what it looks like, you know. And I ended up rearranging everything last minute, so that's why you don't see art there, folks. But I'll do something. Just bear with me for the time being.
I mean, it's the start of the year. I'm expecting in 2 weeks that's going to be filled up with a Winzy Awa. What else are we looking for?
Them, dude. Yeah, I have quite a few things that I need to frame.
All right, love to hear it, guys. Exciting or I'm excited, but exciting times. But yeah, great to see everybody here. DP, Christian Jensen, Nox Darkness, Kerry Ross, GM to you. We're going to get into a ton of stuff. But let me go through my dashboard really quick. I've got the LFG Airdrop. I got Steamboat Willie. That was a story that obviously we were attuned and kind of just getting into right before this drop. We knew that January 1st was that big date where that public IP was going to hit for that character, and a lot of stuff happened in between now and then. Solana NFT Volume, Wassies on Blast. So we're getting our first NFT collections here over on Blast before that layer 2 launches. 3 landers shutting down, MapleStory, Reboot, Elumia, Vitalik on ETH. So just a full dashboard, man.
Dude, I can't. So I degened the whole way through until right before like New Year's. That was like the moment that I had my pause of like touching grass and forgetting about it. And I feel like I missed the bull market, Q. Because I go into the Telegram, and I'm seeing all you degenning into all kinds of stuff, taking profits, minting shit.
I felt like you.
Did I miss it, man? What happened? I blinked.
I'm going to be honest. I felt like you just getting after it, just getting into different projects, kind of not swing trading, but just figuring out, you know, what the fundamentals look like on a couple of these shit coins and just getting after it, man. So got to give you credit. You were motivating me the whole time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's going to be a heck of a year. This is how we're kicking it off, man. You know, just a reminder to everybody out there, you know, like there's plenty of opportunity. So when you get that tingle in your jingles, you know, just remember there'll be more where that came from. So if you miss some stuff, it's okay. Always give yourself that pause. We saw some like a real bad hack, I think it was today, from a wallet dev, which is crazy to see. But
I'm glad you brought that up.
Seriously, yeah, it was the LFG airdrop. Everybody's doing it. It's safe. And for a second, I think he says he Googled it, which was like, ouch, like, come on, double, triple check that.
The last thing you do is Google stuff. Last thing you're doing is hitting that sponsored post by some scammer.
Yeah, but you know, like, I mean, to me, like I'm sorry that he had to go through it, right? But at the same time, what a fantastic reminder to everybody out there. This guy is a seasoned wallet dev, and he fell for it. So, you know, just watch yourselves, folks. That's all.
All right, so here's what we're going to do, folks. We're going to get into the episode real quick because we don't have Huda and Gifted here today. They will be here tomorrow, by the way. We're going to hit our January Rate My Bags edition, which is the NFT power rankings, essentially, that we like to do now every month. That's going to be a fantastic one. Definitely tune in tomorrow to hit that and watch us just get flamed, flame each other, just do everything. Just get us started in this year. By the way, we are not financial advisors. This is not financial advice. Do not take what we say and invest it into any shit coins, any Bitcoin, Ethereum. We're just not investment advisors. So just don't do any of that. We need to get that out of the way real quick on today's episode. So without further ado, I see you guys blowing up the chat. We are going to get started. I'm sharing out what I can here on the socials. I had a Gordon Goner post that I wanted to hit right up front, man, because here we go again. Gordon's just driving collection markets. Let's see. I think I do have it finally. So this was a post, I think from, maybe 2 hours ago. It says Frog Friend. You can obviously see Froganas there, the major collection over there on Solana. So it looks like Gordon's getting into the Solana game. I believe the frogs are now up. Let me see, 17 Sol, 18 Sol. Where are we now? 19 Sol on the Froganas. They were sitting around 12 to 13 before this announcement. So Gordon still got it.
I'm so pumped about Ordinals Q. I can barely contain myself. And I think we haven't even scratched the surface. You know how shitty the fucking user experience is over there? Like just going through everything. Like I was listening to Space today, somebody talking about like using like the mempool right now while it's slow to like preload your transactions so that you don't overpay when the time comes to mint or trade. It's so hideous, and yet we look at the adoption we're seeing. It's like it's awaking from a deep, long slumber, and it's craving NFTs. I can't wait, my friend. Q1 is going to be just insane.
I know we had that brief little interaction, this skirmish over there on the Bitcoin blockchain about kind of the transactions, the mempool essentially getting blown up by all of these inscriptions. When we see some type of mass adoption, man, like what's going to happen? Because right now they're already complaining.
And I want them to, Q. Let them complain. Let them bitch and whine and moan and do all their hoop jumping and everything, because finally, at some point between this fucking Q1, they're going to look around and be like, oh, look, there's such a thing as Bitcoin L2s that enable fast transactions, that facilitate a lot of these things and just make the experience so much better.
All right, I'm glad Squashman's here to set us straight as well, because that was the next part of this story. A Mooncat as well as an MFer were purchased by Gordon. He's getting more ramped up, I feel like. I know he had that like flurry of NFTs, but the consistency now for the last like 3 months, I think, is showing it wasn't just kind of a one-off. I'm going to come back into the space, buy a whole bunch of fucking NFTs, and then bounce out. You saw the post also from Garga, who was saying he was getting yelled at because Yuga, it was facetious, obviously, but he was getting yelled at by Gordon for Yuga not shipping fast enough. So Gordon's officially back, man. Good to see.
Dude, we were talking about this last year, but like I really love what he's doing, and I think it's so clear that this motherfucker gets it, right? Like, because he's not only going like on a shopping spree, but and I think NFT Stats hit on that last time, right? When he went on that shopping spree, he's giving time for people to like appreciate or maybe go check out these other projects and communities. And while I understand, and like I know a company does not make decisions based on like letting competitors or other people have their moment or ship stuff, I do think like that it is a mindset that we would all be well to adopt. We are such a small percentage of the market cap in crypto. We're 1% of the total market cap in crypto. I think it's like 1.75 trillion was what 6529 was saying. And NFTs represent 1% of that. It's nothing. We are like the fringiest of fringes in crypto, you know, and to you know, I mean, we've gotten to see, especially me, some Moonbird and a proofer, got to see some real shitty fucking takes and people expressing like tribalism and stuff that makes absolutely no sense to me in this space at the moment. So to see somebody like Gordon go out and spend this hard-earned crypto, you know, on like different projects and highlight them and uplift them, we need more of that, man. I'm all for it, dude. I think we need to embrace each other a lot more if we're to onboard in this next bull cycle, which I hope we do.
Marty is here. The Gordon pumps are just cringe. Excited to see that the FUD will continue for Yuga from Marty McFly here in 2024. I just can't wait.
Marty, we need
Quantum Variant saying, "Do not fade Gordon." Look, it's not gonna break the internet or anything like it used to here in the NFT space, but it's a fun story to cover whenever he's kind of getting after it. At least it brings some energy on the day for those communities. Biggie, I know Bitcoin Ordinals is a larger discussion. First of all, Megapont and the team over there, they've got some updates that we can possibly get to in the end of the episode. But when we're on this kind of conversation here, because we're not going to spend too much time today, Kiao actually had a really cool post about this, talking about geographic arbitrages. So he was saying how the West was sleeping on Ordinals and BRC20s, and by extension, Bitcoin, and the East was actually sleeping on this Solana run. Interesting stuff. I thought, when this came across my timeline, it made a ton of sense because there was really this like euphoric moment that happened. And I think it was because each region was able to get in before the other, and then people continue to FOMO in after it starts to pump, right? So really the East joining that Solana craze as it started to pick up led to that parabolic moment. And I think what you saw on Ordinals was the same thing. The East understood it. The West was like, holy shit, I need to be a part of it. And that's what led to this like parabolic kind of stairs up immediately.
Yeah, I appreciate that take. I can see it's one of those things that I've seen a lot more conversation on right now, right? It's like a lot of the collector groups, the art groups right now, right? Like they're discussing, it's like, oh, should art be on Solana? Why isn't ETH following Bitcoin? Is it dead? Is it going to be L2s? And I love these moments because they lead to really deep introspection and like the type of conversations that I enjoy having. Again, if you are somebody that like, I don't know, dabbles in absolutes, then yeah, this is a shitty time to be looking at some of these things, right? But if you're an optimist like we are here, right, Q, this is an awesome time to be alive. And yeah, I think, with BTC, to me, my take on it is just that for so long it's been ingrained in our heads that it is the boring boomer chain, right? It is the one that is just gonna kind of like, you store your value there for your grandchildren. You don't really do much with it. And a lot of people did not see this coming. When you mentioned L2s, I mean, they were fighting L2s on Ethereum, Q. Like necessary in the roadmap, been called out for years, and they were still bitching and whining. That's why, in my opinion, like resisting this stuff is futile. I really do like to take the mindset of a surfer, right? And try to position yourself where the waves are breaking, try to catch the next one. There's always a next one. There's always another set. But like the last thing you want to do is be like paddling against and resisting everything that pops up, right? And Bitcoin was one of those things that even within its own community, people were resisting L2s, resisting it still do, right? The idea of NFTs. And to me, this just makes it even more powerful, even more attractive. You're not going to beat this. So yeah, and it's opportunity for people like us, right? That are willing to go out on that risk.
Absolutely. And really just getting even further out on that risk scale. DP is talking about Say. So Say is popping off. I do have to say we are early investors in Say, or I am an early investor in Say. So just for transparency's sake, but Say is one that I kind of written off. But in 2021, I think they did their raise. I put down the cash.
This is a 2021 thing.
This is the investment was actually like in 21 or 22, And really, I hadn't chalked it up to a 0, but really it was something that was just like, well, Say hasn't picked up any steam. And then literally over the past 2 weeks, Say has been getting more and more love. And it's really like farther out there on the risk spectrum, of course, when it comes to getting into a new project. There's not as much going on. I've been kind of explaining that with Base a lot. Coinbase's layer 2 here that's built on optimism. It's a little bit riskier when you get in those places because the liquidity is not there. But as you can see, DP is saying Say NFTs are popping off too. All right, folks, we are getting into a bunch of things that are happening, but let's hit this LFG airdrop. Again, we do see you there over on X, on YouTube, on Twitch if you were there, and YouTube also before and after, or I should say live and afterwards, because you guys make up a majority of the viewership as well. So I appreciate it very much. All right, Biggie, did you claim your LFG? Because we need to get into this details as well as kind of the overall. Okay. All right, so you're first. I needed someone to go in first before I claimed these.
I paid for this, Q. You know how I am. Like I've been waiting. This next week or two, I'm gonna be monitoring everything very closely because I really feel like it's like a tradition. It's like a new Web3 tradition that always end of year, beginning of year, you get these types of plays. You get the Steamboat Willie types of plays, and they're fun. I'm not saying they're guaranteed hits, but they're just fun. I really liked this one. Obviously the ticker symbol is just spot on. It really hits a lot of different notes for me. Also, the whole Solana, Ethereum,
the narrative's good
ecosystem, and then this one it's just my type of narrative, right? It's extending an olive branch. It's like, dude, we're Web3, we're in the same thing. If you're wearing Ethereum, hop on over to Sol. So yes, I claimed. No, I did not sell, and I plan on holding it for a while. I like it. I like being that, the whole story of it.
I love the imagery here because obviously Solana is named after Solana Beach in California. Biggie's talking about catching waves. That is one thing that I did last night, Biggie. I don't know if you kept up with the chat yesterday, but when this dropped, I was basically like, look, this is my feeling on airdrops is that they go up right after it launches. You can see that huge green candle, obviously, and then everyone's dumping. And if you could find some type of support, then they usually do something that nobody expects. They're like, okay, everyone's getting this token distributed to them. Of course it's going to go to near zero or just like it's going to be shit. Well, it always finds a way to do what we saw over the last 24 hours, which is the last, let's even say it was 0.15. It went all the way up to almost a 10x overnight. And so, Biggie, I caught this like the 0.21 area. I caught it. And I, around this level here, around 0.4, I was able to 2x it. And of course it runs to fucking 0.15 afterward. Like, of course it runs another 8x after I sell it. That always happens. But dude, that's a interesting play with it being airdrop season. Another airdrop that we're going to catch in a little bit is catching this like dump of the airdrop, and then seemingly, and this is my theory, whales want to entice people to buy the token so that it can be run up to these levels and then dumped when they whenever it gets to a level they like, they're dumping that airdrop.
Yeah, what's the market cap on it right now? Let me see.
Market cap is 68 mil right now.
That's cool. I mean, I agree with what you said. I'm just of the mind that some of these meme coins carry with it again like a certain narrative. They launched at a very particular moment in time, and again, I think it's also depends on you. Like I didn't buy any, I just claimed it, and
yeah,
a couple $100, I think. I don't know what they're at right now, but yeah, this is something that I don't mind. I don't need to take profits on immediately. I don't mind playing a little bit longer term and see what becomes of it, because I think, like so many people I'm seeing in chat, like they haven't even claimed their token yet, and I don't know if there's any type of roadmap or anything, but we all know the heater that Solana is on at the moment, and yeah, I don't mind letting this run a little longer. So
yeah, for those of you as well that didn't catch what we're talking about, is essentially LFG is a meme token, and it launched in the last 2 days with the narrative of we are going to reimburse you for all the gas that you spent on Ethereum. So you can see here a user is essentially saying, I wasted $100,000 on gas and claimed 7.8 million LFG. Now, don't think this is going to make up in any sense to spending $100,000 in gas on Ethereum.
Yeah, maybe you'll make $1,000.
Yeah, there you
You're
go.
lucky right now. That's probably what you got.
And I can drop the link here in chat for you guys, because that's always the situation here, and it's going to continue to be. And I'm trying to find that link, Biggie, to the founder of the wallet that was essentially phished, because that's a problem, right? Everybody wants to claim these airdrops. Everybody wants to get in and try to, you know, be the first to claim, to maybe dump it, and you get wrecked.
Yeah. I'm looking for it because here it is. Yeah, because this was exactly it, and it's nuts how quickly this person was able to, you know, I guess like he ran paid ads and like must have been like right at the top of Google, expecting somebody to Google this thing, and bam, he got like a wallet dev, you know. And again, like, how greedy are you gonna be? 125K, how much do you think his airdrop was gonna be? Like,
yeah, 1,000 max.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just like, watch your ass, people, please. Like, you know, in these things, like, it's very easy to get caught up on the FOMO and start imagining and seeing all these 7-figure airdrops. They're just going to land in your lap. But I think it's better to just be cautious. And then, you know, maybe since it's a new year, I've heard a lot of people, what they like to do is just rotate their wallets, right? Like, just get a fresh new wallet for 2024, right? And retire your 2023 wallet, right? I mean, not the worst idea I've heard.
That's tough on Ethereum just because of the amount of gas you're even spending on transactions. Like, it really brings me back, Biggie, to that combo. Like, it was a small combo at the time, but I remember talking about, well, noobs are going to get in this cycle
right now, bro.
Why would you ever?
It's only $10. Yeah. It's insane when you start looking at these other places. I get that. I think this conversation has definitely been highlighted and will be so as we go on this whole year. Just how much better Ethereum needs to do, right? But that doesn't mean Ethereum's going to zero either, because I do see some people that are like freaking
Culture's
out.
Still here. That's the thing. We keep saying this, like, there's gains on other chains. Don't get me wrong, but the culture, all of the things being built, the actual products are still the majority. I would say 95% on Ethereum. I know there's gains on other chains. I get it. You know, there's these new projects popping up. You're making a bag. But when it comes down to it, the products right now, the full built out products are on Ethereum.
Yeah, 100%.
Hey, real quick, we got a couple comments, Biggie, here. DP's kind of rolling on your comment saying resisting the trend is like holding your own breath, hoping to deprive everyone else of oxygen. That's great. Marty's saying I dumped it for 3.9 Sol just now. Free monies to start the year. Mike Erlinson says I was considering buying a DeGods. Any chance you guys could give me your current take on them? We'll do that in just a second. It looks like Quantum hasn't claimed, saying, so do I need a Sol wallet, Biggie?
You do, Quant. So basically the way this works is, yes, Carrie, like Phantom does have an ETH and Sol option. The problem is that if you haven't used your Ethereum Sol Phantom wallet, then it's not going to recognize you spending any gas. So you're going to have to use, one way or another, you're going to have to use the wallet, your Ethereum wallet, from which you've spent gas on, right? Like, probably like the wallets that you usually mint from are going to be the ones that you're going to have to like log on with, and then you'll have a Solana wallet that you'll have to provide, which is where you will claim that airdrop. Having said that, just double, triple, quadruple freaking check that the website is the correct one, that that Twitter link is the correct one. I would say there's no rush to it. But yeah, that's what you need to do. So if you were to get just a fresh new ETH wallet, well, you haven't spent any gas on that, you're not going to be rewarded with it, which is the issue there, right? Like we were talking about it in the Telegram. I think we got a new fantastic member that you've been bringing on some really cool people, Q, by the way. You all should be like fiending to get in on the Telegram channel. It's a lot of fun. but he was talking about how like you know your wallet says a lot about you, and we've talked in this channel a lot about how it can be your future CV or your pedigree, right? And that's something that I do a lot sometimes. They're rightfully or wrongfully so, right? Where I do have like a really old wallet, which is the one where I usually have my POAPs on and have like, if somebody was to say, how long have you been in the space? Bullshit, you didn't go to fucking Woodstock. I'd be like, check out my wallet, homie. And my wallet will show you how far back I go with all these transactions and all these things. I would hate that wallet to be hacked, but it's also the one that has the pedigree and usually is the one that gets
all of this
for all these airdrops and stuff. So that's something that
that's where one thing I do wish, I love that you bring this up, because they could easily implement, or maybe easily,
right? Like you could do maybe delegate cash,
just a warm wallet. Yeah, just let's figure out a warm wallet for these situations. It's pretty easy. So Real and Carrie are both asking for a link here. I did, and I be very careful. Like I literally dropped this link into our chat, twitter.com, less FN gas. Triple freaking, don't even trust me on this. Like I struggle here because I want this to be a place where you guys can come and like be able to click on a link and not get drained, but really it's up to you to figure out the right spot. So Biggie, I want to make sure that that is the correct one that I just dropped. Does the profile LFG have 17.6K followers? That's, I know there's not a full plan.
So, and honestly, I get what you're saying. Like, don't trust me either. Like, just make sure. Like, you can take the time to make sure it's the right one. But I just clicked on it, and it looks like it's the right Twitter follow, the right Twitter profile. So you should be good. Just be careful, fam. We love our community here, and would hate to have any of you guys go through anything like that. Knox, I totally get you. I saw how much I spent on gas in some of my wallets, and I was just like, oh my god! I could just sat on my hands and did nothing. But then we fun.
I also want to point out here, and then we'll move on because we've been spending a good amount of time on this. The actual the majority pool is on Orca as well. Which requires a VPN. I'm not saying that you need to download a deep VPN or anything like that, but I'm just saying that there's a requirement for this, of not being in the US. So again, not a recommendation. I'm just pointing this out. Felipe Gonclave saying ETH is everyone's daddy. Let's see. No one, Quantum saying no one will complain about high gas when ETH pumps. No one. And then DP saying all airdrops should be directed to a throwaway wallet. Yeah, definitely. Jupiter is an interesting one that we could potentially talk about. I know Marty's talking about that. Biggie, my last thoughts here. Again, I was like playing kind of the shitcoin casino here with the token. You can see it's kind of settled here on the 30-minute chart. If I go to an hour chart, it's really tough to see sometimes. Tough with a token this this new 4-hour chart's not going to do much. But yeah, I mean, it might be an interesting time to check this one out. I do think it has a good narrative of getting. I saw ETH Maxi saying, "Hey, this was the first time I interacted with Sol." So, it's more than just a pop-up shitcoin at this point.
Agree.
So, all right, this is the other airdrop that we had here for y'all. It was DYN Dimension came through. A lot of bigger accounts were tweeting about this as well, so it wasn't one that was just like randomly dropped here, and no one really is talking about it. So Genesis drop is here. I haven't actually. I don't think there's much to this. Yeah, not much. Nice, love these.
Diamond hand that, bro.
Hey, look, man, I appreciate a good little hype trailer. So. We'll see. Anyways, DYM, I believe, is the token ticker here. I don't think the token is live. Like, I tried to find it on Dex Tools. I might be completely off on this.
It's part of the Cosmos ecosystem, right? So it's over on Kepler and stuff, I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but from what I understood, it's part of the Cosmos ecosystem. So, and I've heard, like, even if you've transacted with Base, like with Friendtech or any of these other things, like, you might be eligible. So, but again, please just be careful. You know, you've got time. I didn't see anything about them closing the doors anytime soon. I do plan on, you know, seeing what I can claim, but I'm gonna go very nice and slow and check everything. But yeah, I'm excited, man. Like that's another area that I think people are, I don't want to say sleeping on, right? But it's very clear that there's certain ecosystems that are starting to pick, you know, like to get attention, and also like really just doing a lot to launch stuff, right? And I think the Cosmos ecosystem is clearly one of them. And because I feel like it's like a different wallet that you need, there's a little more friction. You know, we talk about it here, Q, but I like those. You know, to me, I love Solana, but Solana is very easy, which is also a boon, right? Like I think like a lot of new users are just being funneled through Solana. Very easy. You get your Phantom wallet and you're up and running.
Well, liquidity is there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Ordinals and Cosmos takes a little extra work, but can be equally as profitable.
Payoff. Carrie's saying I really get lost in charts like that, stuff all over the candles. Here's one thing I will say. I'm not a big fan of really charting a lot of this stuff because they're meme coins, they're shit coins. What I'm really looking for in the game that I have played over the last couple weeks on a chart like this, right? Like if you're going on the minute chart and you're thinking you know anything that's going on, you don't. When it comes to that kind of stuff, the one thing you will be able to see on something like this, Carrie, is where some level of support is, meaning like if it's bounced a couple times, that's what I was able to see early on this. Was that this is me basically seeing the airdrop. Everyone's kind of, you know, dumping this stuff, and then when you see some type of reversal, that's at least to me an indicator sometimes of like, hey, okay, there are people looking to buy this, and that's where I entered. So I'm not drawing on charts. I'm not, you know, especially on something that has, you know, a pre $5 million market cap or anything like that. I wouldn't necessarily say to do that kind of stuff. It's just it's part of the tool, or it is a tool of the whole kind of picture that you need.
I always like the example that some people throw up, that it's like looking at charts is like looking at an X-ray of the current market sentiment, right? That's really what it is. And and I get it, Carrie. It's frustrating sometimes because you spend all this time learning, like, you know, volume profiles and cup and handles and fucking all these things, and then you look at your favorite traders, like, I'm not even looking at macro. I'm just looking price action and narrative, and that's all I care about. It's like, okay, especially in a space like this.
Exactly.
So, like, there's no like absolute truth. You just gotta like learn different tools that are favorable to you, I would say. Like, and I think like over time, as you start looking at these things, like with UQ, looking at these patterns, you're like, oh, I've seen this little movie before. I'll take a punt, you know, see what happens.
That and that has less. I mean, it definitely has something to do with that chart. It has more to do with the fact that people like to dump airdrops. But also these airdrops, if they have enough momentum, tend to bring a lot of people and a lot of interest, therefore some liquidity and driving that price action upwards. So again, not financial advice here, but we've seen that before, Biggie, where I've sat here and been like, that chart is going to zero. Like, you're going to distribute $50 million to people. How in the world is this thing going to 10x? And then lo and behold, you get it. So... All right, I'm going to follow up on the comments you were talking about with Dimension here on Cosmos. You can see eligible participants can claim up to 70 million DYM. This is everyone, not you. So settle down there. The native asset of Dimension until January 21st. So you do have time. I would often recommend doing that unless you do want to play that roller coaster game that I was just talking about. Where you can maybe time that pump that you see on a lot of these airdrops. But yeah, you could wait. There's no issues on waiting. And then here are the users that actually are eligible: Celestia, Ethereum, Cosmos, and Solana.
Oof.
Including a wide range of crypto users such as NFT holders, network stakers, and application users.
Yeah, this seems like they might as just well put everybody, you know, even Cardano holders, right? I mean, it's I don't know. Sometimes, how do you feel about those things, Q? Like, for me, because of everything that's happened in Cosmos, I'm obviously very interested in finding out a little more about what this token tech project is all about and claiming that airdrop. But at the same time, when I see them carpet bomb just everybody in the ecosystem, come claim your tokens, now you're getting into kind of like a meme token, right? To me, where it's like, really, like, how valuable is this going to be? Like, if everybody can claim it, you didn't have to do shit. I mean, I don't know.
It always reminds me of that Gordon Goner quote that was talking shit to guys like, hey, if you could do better, why don't you go and fucking do it? Because I do have thoughts every time I see an airdrop. I'm like, I could do that a little bit better. Like, I would incentivize the right people, but at the end of the day, I'm not doing an airdrop to, thousands of people. But Biggie, generally, I do agree with you. I see some of the requirements and I'm like, maybe like diving a little bit deeper into that. Like, not just every Ethereum user, but what about Ethereum users that are active using this application that actually works more towards what you're trying to build as the product you're trying. Like, I think they could go a little bit deeper instead of saying Ethereum, or just Solana, and pieces like that. So. It could always be done a little bit better, I guess. Is the cynical way to look at that?
Yeah, I agree. But we're gonna see a lot of this stuff.
All right, so I don't know if DYN is live trading, Biggie. I know you said it is over there on Cosmos, but I don't see it on Dex Tools. Again, I might be wrong.
Yeah, I haven't researched it either. What I will say is that I've been staking Cosmos. Atom is the ticker for a while now, and the minute I got the TI airdrop, I staked that too, and that's kind of how I'm rolling with Cosmos at the moment. I mean, they've been fantastic when it comes to airdrops, and so again, I don't know what this tech does. I'm very interested to see if it's something serious, something that can actually move the needle over there.
Yeah.
Even if I would keep some, and if it's stakeable, I would do it. Like some of it, maybe not all, but some of it. I think it's a smart play to do in Cosmos.
Yeah, if you guys have if you guys can let me know if the token is actually trading, that would be dope. You can see here it is going to be another protocol. So you can see it's talking about apps built on top of Dimension and all these pieces, man. There has to be a consolidation here, Biggie. I don't know if we see it in 2025. Definitely, I think everyone's going to be kind of drinking the Kool-Aid here in 24, and it's going to be good times. But the same thing we saw with Harmony, the same thing we saw with a lot of these blockchains that were highly touted.
No way, not a chance. Yeah, you do want to see adoption there, and it's one of those things where I don't know, like I do see some people already kind of analyzing this way, right? Where it's like, does it have like a fearless leader, like somebody that's like the poster boy for this chain? Like, I guess every fucking chain has to have an MVP now, somebody out there shilling.
I like that.
Up and all that. It's part of the culture. At the same time, I don't agree. Not all of them do, right? Like I've met like some of the founders of Celestia. They're not very vociferous. They're not active on social media, and their fucking tech, I think, is very, very solid. That's one token that I don't plan on selling. I'll gamble on that one and see what happens. But overall, yes, I think as we go through this year, we'll start seeing where I think that's the clearest sign, right? It's like looking at GitHub commits, like developer activity. Where are the devs building, and where are the users going? And the users are a little trickier, in my opinion, because you do have that, notorious mercenary capital that is just going from chain to chain, farming, dumping. So you want to watch out for that too. But we'll see, and we'll be doing our best to track it and keep you guys. right?
We're trying to, man. I mean, that's
It's a
again,
lot.
it's a team effort. It's a team
Yeah.
effort, 100%. Buffalo, interestingly enough, has come out of hibernation, but hibernation for a lot of different reasons. But he's interested in Cardano, and like every time Buffalo brings Cardano up, I'm like, I'm not going over there. I don't care what could happen. I'm not going over there. Solana outpaces Ethereum and every other chain in weekly stablecoin transfer volume for the first time ever. Solana's doing well, obviously, on a ton of different metrics. It looks to continue to be a chain that a lot of people are using, frankly, just because the liquidity is there. It's easy to use. The gas fees are low, and for a lot of different reasons, man. But yeah, wanted to get that one out. All right, we are going to transition here to some other stories before I think we got about 20 minutes left with y'all. Quantum Variant says, I think you will see layer 2s buy up other layer 2s. Arbmatic will buy smaller chains with purpose.
What are you buying?
In theory, I like that. I think the integration of different chains into other chains seems kind of tech heavy and maybe not worth it. I will say Polychain Capital, really fan. I'm blanking on his name. Oh no, I'll find it. I'll find it.
That would be very interesting to me, like what that would entail and how you'd get that done, right? Because what are you buying there if not the mind share of the developers and the people there, right? Like that's really what you're buying, but what do the holders and builders on that ecosystem get when they have to go over to whatever other chain bought it, right? Like,
yeah,
because you're not going to dilute your own ecosystem, right? Like, what, you're going to give them a 10-for-1 token split for a now worthless token?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not going to work out. So it'd be interesting. I don't know. There's always innovative stuff going on how to accomplish these things. I'm not smart enough to figure that one out, but that's where I go back to your take, right? Like with the NFT space, where it's like, don't get it twisted. Like there is a competition going on. Like it's a war, right? Like not all of them are going to survive. Having said that, there is a culture, Web3, that's like an ethos that is respected, which is, I think, one of my favorite pieces that I read, like coming into this new year, was Vitalik's "Let's Make ETH CryptoPunk again," right? Like, and if you read the piece, I think it's fantastic because he's obviously very conscious of the spot that Ethereum is in. But when I read Punk 66529, I just the thing that pops out at me more than anything is that beyond basically the best tech is not the one that's going to win. There is a social component, a community component to it that is crucial, and it's the one that I've been, I don't know, I feel like I just keep wanting to double down on more, right, Q? Like, I think, and I try to find parallels on it whenever I think of, like, say, something like cannabis legalization, right? Like look at how far back Cheech and Chong started with their fucking movies, right? And look at the products and the things and the benefits they're gaining from being these cult leaders now, right? Whereas before they were bastardized and, just two fucking potheads that didn't know any better.
And then the narrative changes. Yep.
Culture movements start off like that, right? But you can always single out certain people that were just the hardcore believers, the users from the very start, right? They were like, I'm dying on this hill. Like, I'm staying here and I'm going to keep preaching the good word with or without a reward. And that's how I feel about crypto right now. And that's what I feel like I'm doing here with you today. And what I want to fucking double down on this year, because I think like that is honestly for me, like what feeds me the most. But I also feel like if you are a good person and you really want to like build and you're really about this space and the culture, you'll be here, through the FUD, through the fucking rugs, through all this bullshit. And down the line, that value will accrue to you, right? Like one way or another. But it's very interesting to me that people that are like on the bleeding edge of like actually developing these ecosystems, like actually coding them and coming up with, ways to implement all this stuff, don't sleep on the fact that the social component, the ethos, the culture is paramount, like on par with the tech.
We all have projects that we got invested into or really like, and we wonder, why isn't this project taking off? When I see others that maybe aren't as good on the tech side or even as good at shipping product. Because I mean, meme coins show that more than anything. There's literally not, like, they're developing a culture that is literally, they're working off of vibes. And yeah, that works better in a bull market. It's tough to get meme coins going, but you even saw Pepe and Turbo in the midst of a fucking bear market be able to do some really cool things. So,
and they're the ultimate expression of that, right? Like I saw, I don't know if you follow Joe McCann. He's a VC, really well-regarded, smart guy. And he's like, that's how you invest in internet culture. Right? Like back in the day, like you had like Supreme Court judges saying, I can't tell you what pornography is, but I know it when I see it. It's the same thing with internet culture. It's the same thing with meme culture, right? It's like, you can't exactly put your finger on it, but when you see a good concept, when you see people rallying around a particular idea, you can be like, oh, that's a fucking meme coin, or that's something that I think I can get behind. I'm vibing with this thing. And it's really hard because it completely flies in the face of any type of fundamental traditional investing thing, applications or concepts that you could apply to this. It's 100% gut feeling, right? But it's there. And I mean, I think that anybody that's an NFT should have almost like an even above average understanding of why, like if you've ever invested in an NFT, you know why you did that, right? Like one way or another, you have a concept of like, there's a culture here.
It's that classic mid-curve meme, right? Like if you try to 80 IQ it, you're kind of missing the point sometimes, because this space doesn't operate maybe like, typical P&Ls and all that stuff. So let's see. Comments are abound here. Let's go to Squash Man. Y'all see Beanie's recent post using Crypto Slam data. Been reaming on ETH lately and speculates NFTs going to other chains and projects will move away from. First of all, that's a bottom signal if I've ever seen one. Squash saying chatting on my phone is the worst. Quantum saying, how do you feel about the Rekt stock equity stories? We can definitely see the Rektguys stuff here.
I was listening to Mondo this morning, Quant, and so because I was really interested in, we saw, what was it, the plague do that just a couple of last week.
It was last week. Yep.
I wanted to see just kind of like what Mondo's thoughts were, and I guess like he's been giving it some, like, it's not like just like off the cuff kind of thing movement. Like he's very well versed in like raises and stuff like that. And so one of the things that he said is like it's gonna be a gift, and it's there, right? Like it's gifted equity. And I would not be surprised if also Rekt Brands Inc. is not domiciled in the United States of America. And I mean, I don't know, like this very much intrigues me. But yes, I agree with you, Sarah. It is a big red flag. It is, and I'm sure he's conscious of it. But that's, it's the same thing with ApeCoin, right? Like at some point, somebody has to be bold enough and say, well, I don't see any boundaries here. I'm going to go and do my best to be, compliant, but I want to do this for my holders. And, there's different takes for that, right? Like on the proof side, like, Kevin Rose and the team from the very get-go always said, not an ERC20 token. People pissed off about that, but there's a very clear reason why they've never even cared to venture there. It's a hard line. Whereas this guy, he's being pretty bold, and I'm cheering him. I want him to succeed and to be able to do this, because it'll enable other projects to maybe down the line do the same.
It feels like something we don't need coming down the pipeline is the SEC seeing this and being like, fuck no. I thought we were done here with Tom Bilyeu, and now these NFT collections want to offer shares.
But if it's a gift, you're entitled to a gift. I think you're tax exempt up to a certain amount from a certain value of gift. So my only issue there is like, where is this company domiciled? I think that's the biggest thing, and I think somebody like Mondo knows this. And
I mean, they're not going to do it willy-nilly. That's what's crazy about it, is that Pons, and I think there was a comment here from Squash saying Pons was on Coffee with Captain this morning, Gonna check that out tonight. So obviously that announcement came yesterday or last week from Pons, that the collection, that his collection was actually, the Plague was going to offer shares. I feel like the Rekt Mondo story actually like solidifies this and gets that narrative like moving a little bit more. Like with the Plague, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like you don't see a lot of NFT collections. Now you see Rektguys doing it. It's like, oh shit.
Every now having this conversation right now in their Discord, they're gonna be like, hey, do you think this is something that we could do with our project someday?
God, that sounds like a terrible situation. To me, it definitely does. I know there were people talking about how, what if Bored Ape does this? That could send Bored Apes to all-time highs, and they could offer shares based on if people want to give them rights to their apes, and like there's all this legalese around that. So
and Chris Jensen, one of our community members here, brought up an important point. Yeah, that it does not equal equity. It's just distributed, gifted to some holders there. Oh, and don't go buy a Rektguy right now. It was a snapshot from October, so you're not going to get equity if you buy a Rektguy today. By the way, just in case you were itching to ape into one.
If you don't understand the narrative yet of where we're at in the space, we haven't even looked at any NFTs here. Like we haven't looked at any price floors, any collections. It's been really, layer 2, other protocol focus, meme coin focus to start the year, airdrop focus, all that stuff. Let's touch on one quick announcement that also kind of followed up here. Let's see. So I've got 2 collections. I've got Wassies, I believe, talking about being the first collection over there on on Blast.
These are like the little duck-billed platypuses from way back.
Yeah, you can. Yep, exactly. They're saying token time launch, Pump It Loom Dart token launching on Blast. So this, to my knowledge, is the first collection, as well as a meme coin. That looks like it's going to be launched on Blast once the protocol launches in February. It says, when Blast goes live, yes, this is a pre-announcement for a coin launching on a pre-announced chain. If that doesn't yell bull market, I don't know what does, Biggie.
Fuck yes, dude. I love the Wassies, man. They're a vibe. Like, and they're big in Asia. They even have like a hotel that's like Wassie themed. I think it's in Singapore, which is really cool. Do you remember this mint?
No, absolutely not.
It was hilarious. The music, the whole thing. They're fucking hilarious, dude. That's awesome. And I bet you they're based in Asia, so they can do whatever they want.
It looks like so. This announcement is essentially the launch of Wassie's studio as well. They're saying it's not a venture fund, it's not a launch pad, it's not a holder equity DAO. It's seemingly just the launch of their studio, and it looks like, again, this is going to this is a long thread, so we might need to dive into this again tomorrow here.
Happy for you, and I'm sorry if it happened.
I mean, I'm happy for holders of Wassies. I mean, you're looking at a pill token that will probably be dropped to you retroactively based on an airdrop on Blast. So feels good if you're a Wassies holder there.
And it's good to see people adopting Blast already, right? Committing to porting over there. That's a good sign.
Yeah, so it's true. I mean, if there's $1.1 billion there, I mean, again, that's a lot of that's mercenary capital. It's not going to just stay there forever, even past February, but some of that will look to stay and want to be involved in that ecosystem. Squash is saying Saucy Labs also announced something similar this morning, and I believe Yuga and Pudgies have some involvement with Saucy. Saucy is notoriously bad at comms and the updates, so not sure what will come of this. There was a Pudgy announcement that went along with this. You're right. I don't have that in front of me here. Biggie, were you familiar with the Three Landers project?
Vaguely, yes. I know that of their existence. I don't know anything really beyond the name. Yeah.
It looks like that project is closing up shop. The one thing I'm glad Gifted is not here, because he would actually be really upset at this. They raised like $2.5 million in the bull, and now are just closing up shop. What will happen to Three Landers? Palma will retain control of Three Landers and work on art pieces for the project on his own. it looks like as of today, December 31st, the Three Landers team is being laid off, including myself. So I'm not familiar with the project. I really don't want to go down that rabbit hole just because again, I'm not a holder. But if any of you know anything about Three Landers and you want to drop it in chat, feel free. Yeah, Big. I don't know any other part of that story other than the fact that, again, you see another project that raised a shit ton of money that it's seemingly evaporated into thin air.
Dude, like, I understand that it can be upsetting, right, to see these amounts raised and then have, but I feel like that's what's required, right? Like, I think if we were to rewind back to the .com era, you saw that same behavior, right? Like, just people throwing capital at the wall, seeing what sticks, and a slew of everything from rugs to actually people trying to build real sustainable businesses. And then, I don't know, like, I think we all just have to be cognizant of the space that we're operating in still, right? That not all of our JPEGs are going to make it. I mean, I'll send you. This is another piece. It's from back in the day, but it's from 6529. I do think all of you should read it. I just put it in our private chat. But
yep.
Fam. And just the mindset that I think people would be well to adopt in this space, right? Like, I'm all for like some flips and gains. I'm not saying like, speculation in this space is horrible or bad or should not exist, but I think it should be a much, and this also is mentioned by Vitalik, it should not be the dominant force in this space, right? And unfortunately, for better or for worse, it has been, right? Like, it has been, and that's fair. Like, again, I'm not, please, like go make your money, like, we're all here for it, but you do need to at least have a mindset. If you are about the culture, if you are here for the tech or for the art, like, if there's something here that like you are passionate about, like, have a long-term mindset for it, right? Like really, like, when you do go into certain projects, like, understand that not all of them are going to go up and to the right, not all of them are going to succeed, and some of them will take longer than just one fucking cycle to hit, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're saying, Q, since 2021, you've been sitting on it and you left it as a fucking dead goner, and now it's like rising up from the ashes. Like, take a look at this. It's a very long thread. It's like 37 fucking posts, but I'll drop it. I don't know. I've read it like 2 or 3 times now already. It's important to sear it into your freaking brain, especially when we're going into this bull market, because like, I think mindset is just another part of playing this game that people don't give it the attention and seriousness that it deserves. Shout out Ronan, who fucking does.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to what he comes up with there, but it's true.
So I dropped the 6529 tweet there in chat on YouTube, so you guys can check that out. All the links will also be in the description on the channel after the episode. I will say, dude, it's funny seeing the juxtaposition between a influencer that we were talking about earlier, which is Beanie, who is super reactive, when it comes to a lot of these trends. You can see he's already kind of given up on ETH, saying all the NFTs are going to be on other chains. And then you juxtaposition that with 6529's comments, which are very much more longer term kind of thinking. You can see that in the way that he has developed his thesis. So I think it's funny breaking down both of their thoughts side by side.
And I think it's good to have both takes. Like, you never want to find yourself in an echo chamber where you just like look at stuff that agrees with you. But I think like very much like the same thing that we said last year when we were in a bear market, which was like fucking survive. Well, it still applies this year in the bull market. Survive, take some profits, donate immediately into everything you see, and have like some thesis, like the stuff that you're speckling on and the stuff that you're here long term for.
It's good to see Prodigy here in the new year. Nice to see you, sir. I know that you did change your work schedule, and it's tough. I know Choin is in that group as well, and Biggie's giving you guys both some hearts. All right, I'm gonna finish this out a little bit. I'm gonna try to wrap up some of these last topics, and then I do want to hit Mr. Steamboat Willie because I thought that was a pretty interesting story. Let me speed run this really quick. A couple tokens that I'm looking at on the gaming side here, folks. And this is gonna be not financial advice, obviously. This is Kagi caught a good one here. So Kagi-yan, a good friend of the network.
I saw you guys posted, yeah.
Yeah, so Stamina, I believe, also another community member here was talking about this game. Elumia. So it looks like it looks like an open world MMORPG. It has very much like the Warcraft. I hate to use that terminology because every MMORPG says they're the next World of Warcraft. But you can see the gameplay there. The alpha here, guys, is that look let me make sure I can get to the actual chat. I also will say I did get in on this not before this freaking Kagi pump. So here's if I could post
Holy
this.
Lord. When was
Kagi
this?
posted here about this. This is December 28th. My man posted.
Okay, I'm quitting. Screw this. See.
Later, man. I all of us feel that way. We all have that. So look, Elumia. I could drop the link in chat as well. Again, an open world MMORPG. The gameplay does look sleek, and I will say that Stamina did say that across his timeline, he's seeing people enjoy the game, and that's very much alpha right there for you guys. And I hate using that word, but when it's necessary, I'll use it because that was one of the things that drew me to Prime. And I didn't pull the trigger as hard as something like a Shrapnel on Prime, but I played and I still play Prime or Parallel all the time. And it's fun. And so when Stamina was saying, look, the thesis here was that I saw people enjoying the game. And that, once I heard that, I pretty much aped. And I know it's after Kagi's call here and it has shot up like 2 or 3x here in the last couple days. But it's still at a market cap of 12.8 million. So again, I'm in at 0.021, Biggie. You're going to be in right after me. Buy my bag, sir. But yeah, I'm in right around these levels.
So you see a chart like that, and I honestly didn't even look at the market cap or anything. I was like, too late. I'm fucking never. Didn't do my due diligence, but now that you're talking about, we're here for 10x's minimum, right, sir? I mean, 2x, 3x, that's nothing.
Some of these projects that you put it together, bro. The enjoy, like literally players are enjoying it, and you have a product that's actually out in the world, and it's sitting at a $12 million market cap. The risk to that,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like you're talking about, and I hate to compare it to Prime and Parallel because Prime token is at a market cap of like 600 million. So like. You see the comparisons that we're drawing here. Anyways, that's what I'm looking at. Reboot launched here, Biggie. I don't know if you saw that, but the GG token launched officially. This chart looks super interesting to me as well. I know we're heavy on the charts right now, folks, but do us some, just give us some rope here. You can see it obviously dumped right after release. If I zoom out on the 30-minute chart, it's a new token, so I can do that. Let's see, 0.7.
Token that has every known influencer and figure in their fucking board of advisors, right?
But Pixel Vault's also involved, and VGF, who's a friend of the network, great builder. Pixel Vault themselves are great builders. So yes, I see where you're going with it, Biggie, and I think that's a factor for sure. But when I look at this chart again, another $11.7 million market cap token, and with a dope team. You know what I'm talking about? So unless the distribution looks whack, whenever I see a market cap this low with a team that's really putting in work, that's the next thing I look at. Is like, what does the distribution look like? Is there a fucking is there 100 million of these tokens going to VCs in March? Then I better be out by then. But yeah, I mean. You can see 11 million for Reboot, a heavily shilled token. Obviously, there are people with interest in this. VCs probably don't even get their tokens for a while, Biggie. And that's something you always check out. That's why I bring it up. Do your research and understand when these fucking influencers are getting their tokens.
Yeah.
All right, the last story here before we get to Willie and round it out. Anything stick out to you here? Obviously, Willie's sitting up there. I think that's the secondary collection, by the way, too. That's not even that's the other derivative. So yeah, good luck. Cypher has been talked about. Another game here. You can see Goblin Town pumping off the fact that True Labs is the one that actually put out the Willie collection. I didn't see that one coming. Looks like Mooncats off of the Gordon buy. I faded Sproto Gremlins into Oblivion. And yeah, anything stick out to you here, Biggie?
No, man, just the fucking Willie, which shout out Squash Man. I know you played very well. I'm very happy for you. I can't wait to see, like, by the end of this month, we should probably run a poll, see how maybe we do like a rate my Willie bags. Just fucking see which one.
Don't say that out loud.
Yeah, right. That's right. I don't know. There's quite a few already out.
Okay.
I don't know if you've picked up. A couple of artists have done like open editions, everything under the sun.
Yeah, so let's talk about that in just a moment. There is no update here for MapleStory, but this is again one that and look, I've said this and sat here before, everybody. I've said this with a lot of other projects, specifically in the gaming scene. Look at this token. This is not launching. This project is not launched yet. The biggest announcement they have put out in the last 3 days is that they were on the Sphere in Vegas. But I'm just following this. I've got the notifications on. I want to see what MapleStory will do. Not only because it's an IP I used, but or played back in the day, but big bags as well. You're talking about I want to make sure I get the team's name right. It's like Next Space, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, Next Space is the studio there. But I think Next Space could have some type of Zynga vibes. No update to give. And then, okay, Biggie, we're here at the last story of the day. Squash giving some GG alfalfa there to round out that one if you guys want to check it out in chat. The year was 2023, middle December, and we were calling a Steamboat Willie NFT to be launched in January 1st, right when this IP copyright issue took hold and gets into public domain. And lo and behold, it happened. I think Squashman was able to actually play this. I was busy drinking my ass off that I didn't actually see this happen at midnight. But yeah, True Labs coming through and launching the Steamboat Willie NFT collection. We'll jump into some of these links.
With a token on the way too, right?
Okay, so this was...
I love it.
Willie token is live, by the way, and trading. So this is from Alexander Taub, who is behind True Labs or Truth Labs, I guess, that launched the major Steamboat Willie collection. And he's saying here that Willie is going to be the social token for them. Follow Willie token, and we have a trading token here, Biggie. So I can pull that up as well.
Ooh, man, dude, and they were first too, I believe.
Here's your Steamboat Willie. Yikes! Yikes! Look, I mean, we're bringing you guys a little bit of alfalfa here. Like the last 3 charts look exactly like this. Like if you have some degen in you, the last 3 charts actually look pretty okay.
God,
what's up?
Yeah, this one though, I don't know if I'd play it. There's gonna be. Look at this one. This one is insane.
But feeling this isn't over yet.
So this has no Web3 relation. This is just a great example of the IP. Love the swerve. Come on, man. All right, Biggie, your thoughts here. This is not Web3 related. What's happening?
I don't know. Mickey's on a rampage, but I want to play this. I mean, it looks like Prohibition era shoot 'em up. I like the revolver, old school guns. You know, that's one of those things that I hate about like some of these shooter or like more modern shooter games is that like someone like don't have like they just have endless fucking ammo. It appears like at least like there's no reloading. So I like it when it's simple. It's like 6 shots and you need to reload or whatever. But it looks cool, no?
Biggie's playing that Revolutionary War edition of Modern Warfare.
Yeah,
He's
that's
playing
me, bro.
Call of Duty 1816. I mean, the take is, I'm glad you brought this up because like we're gonna see more of this. And I know the question you had here pre-episode was how far is too far for Disney, right? Because Disney's gonna have to say, you know, like this is gonna damage our brand. What do we do? But it's a really cool use case here or case study. Sorry.
And they better watch their ass too, right? Because if they get overly sensitive, they start going after more people. I can totally see this space being like, oh yeah, well here's 1,000 fucking different takes on this. I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Okay, so here's the collection. Actually, you could if you're searching on Blur here for top Ethereum collections, you do get the number one that was released by Truth Labs here. We can go into the activity bar here, 30 days. It got up. I mean, there were sales up in the 0.4 range for essentially a free mint, right? They were like, what were they? $200? No, $2. This was a $2 mint. The floor price was about 0.28. It looks like that was a 0.3 it reached, and now it's sitting in that 0.098 range. I don't think there's any like reveal process here. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like
I have no clue.
They're just a representation or like a snippet from that main clip of Steamboat Willie.
Mm-hmm.
2,000.
And let's see, like, if they have anything else planned for it, right? Like, they're launching a token. They got this. Like, let's see if they're going to want to play it up a little more, or they're just going to let it die down and be the pump and dump that it could very well be.
It's fair. And we did show you a comment there about the Willie token, and I'm not going to say anything that Swerve is trying to get me to say, but I mean, like the meme token of a Disney character, Disney IP. I mean, at $3.6 million market cap, somebody on this channel right now that's listening to this is either going to be really pissed, Biggie, and it's going to be in our DMs when they lose everything, or you guys are going to be having played this well.
Retiring.
There you go.
Dude.
All right. So that's it for the dashboard for me today, Biggie. I've got Vitalik on ETH if you want to cover it. And then we did have a question from Mike Erlinson here saying, asking about DeGods.
Yeah,
so DeGods in 2024.
God, dude, it's hard. I can't, like, first of all, I've never been a part of the ecosystem. I've just looked from the outside. So I always like to say that first, because there's so many people out there that love to pontificate on where a project is and what it could have done and if it could have been better and does it have a shot, and they've never even owned the asset or been part of the community. So take this with a grain of salt, right? I think I still am a sucker for a comeback story. I think the space itself is very, I don't know, fond of those. And DeGods is one of those communities and projects that I'm sure have been said to be dead many times before, and they're still here, right? Mm-hmm. So, I would encourage you when formulating or forming your decision about whether or not to get a DeGods to read that 6529 thread. I think it'll help you formulate that a lot. I don't think DeGods are dead. I think they're already dead, so they're impossible to kill. But I do think they have a very difficult uphill battle especially if they're planning on going back on Solana, which is, I don't know how I feel about that.
That ship's passed, man.
Personally,
If they go there.
Yeah, personally for me, it's not the best time. Like if I was to want a DeGod, which I mean, I don't know, like at what price do you not want a DeGod? Everybody wants a DeGod, right? But like, I still think it's a risky play at this point. Sorry to say. Like, I think there's just too many opportunities. Personally, like even right now we've seen it in fine art. We're seeing it everywhere. Like NFTs is not where the action is right now, right? And there's very few projects I think that are still able to capture the attention, and it's a handful of them, folks. So like at the moment for me, like I wouldn't.
Okay.
That's my answer. Sorry, really long roundabout way of saying that.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, I think look at the conversation in a couple different parts. In this space, you're always looking at opportunity costs. I think there's projects that are going to do a lot more from a floor price standpoint than DeGods at this point. I just don't think the momentum's there. I don't know if they'll ever get into that gutter cat scenario where we sit here and we're just like, what can they do? You know, they released a bunch of stuff and floor price doesn't move. I don't think DeGods is there yet. And I agree with most of Big E's takes. Here's the personal anecdote that I want to add into this, Biggie, because Utes is part of that ecosystem. And personally, I see more Utes on my timeline than DeGods. It might just be me. I want to throw this your way, though, but I
think I'd agree with you. Yes. That and to Gift's, our absent co-host's point, they are very fragmented, right? And there are, because of the different changes that they've made. Like, and if they were to go back to Solana, like I've seen like the abandoned DeGods catch a bid on Solana, right? Like anticipating, speculating if they do go back to Solana. And they're not like the coolest start at all. Like in my opinion, like I liked it when they upgraded the first time. Afterwards, I kind of lost the plot. But yes, I think I agree with you that I do see a lot more Utes in the timeline, and they seem to be a lot more uniform, or I don't know.
The brand's on point. I think the brand is on point. DeGods, I don't know where they're at, but it feels like Utes has the better brand. And like a fourth of the fucking floor price, by the way. All right, I did drop that Vitalik making the Ethereum cypherpunk again. I think that's a really good read. Biggie, that could be your, if you have any last thoughts here before we roll out. I think we hit a good episode here, man.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm excited. I honestly can't. I'm still reading a lot of these 2024 predictions. I know there's a wizard from A16Z, Wilson. Ben Wilson put out a post that is supposed to be phenomenal. There's quite a few rolling around that I always like to read up and kind of like just start getting my headspace arranged on like the things that I want to focus on this year. But there are some that are just, I think I've mentioned here, and obviously like being of service to this wonderful community that I'm a part of, that I feel honored to be a part of, is one of them. And then I'd encourage all of you to do the same, you know, and just kind of like, I think these new years are always good. I'm not, like I've told you, I'm not so big on like having these grandiose resolutions. I usually go for just like an idea, a simple idea, something that it can be a mantra that you can kind of remind yourself of, and that usually like serves me very well, right? It's simple, it's easy, and because of that, you'll just think about it more throughout the year, try to look for ways of applying it, and I find that they carry over, right? Like I really enjoyed this last year, like taking, you know, this, I don't know, am I a creator, Q?
Absolutely. Sir, you have your own spaces now. You've taken the jump.
So like, yeah, and it's something that I want to continue to do this year. For me, I think in honor of what's his name, Charlie Munger's passing, I've always been like very interested in mental models, you know, but the thing is there's so many that sometimes you can just burn through a whole bunch of them and then you forget to apply them. And so this year,
first principles,
what I want to apply a lot is one of his favorites, which was inversion. You know, and it's just like, okay, anything that I think about or come up with, I want to invert that, or want to think about the opposite as frequently as possible and trying to apply it.
How do you not become a contrarian there? I know we're kind of diving deep into the thing, but how do you not like get yourself into like contrarian mindset all the time?
Because I've already played the contrarian card before, and like, you know, being just somebody that, how would you say, I feel like sometimes people misplace that word, right? Like being a contrarian is just always taking the other side of the argument. That's playing devil's advocate.
Okay.
It's not really being contrarian. I think like to be a real contrarian in the sense of like all these other great investors, like you got to have a thesis and a reason why, right? And for me, like this inversion, I'm thinking, I guess I came through it more from the side of like the engineering side, right? Like the side of like, okay, well, you know, for all these plans that I have for this year, for how I want to tackle the bull market, it's just like always consider the opposite. Like don't find yourself in an echo chamber. And like just, you know, like Legos, right? Like we always say that like crypto is like a bunch of Legos. It's like just try to like don't just settle for the first arrangement that you accomplish or that you see out there, right? Like it's like always just try to repurpose it and see what else could come of it. I don't know. I'm still formulating it, but like I really do like first principles, and I particularly like this one because I think it's very easy to get set in your ways.
Yeah, I mean, you're having this as part of like your personal experience, but I do feel like there's some parallels to what's happening in the NFT industry right now. I feel like everyone's having their first principles kind of challenged here with the layer 2s all popping up. It's kind of like, hey, I thought I was good. I thought my echo chamber was the real one, but if clearly there are things in the earth shifts beneath the feet, man, here. So anyways, this has been a great conversation here. Great show. We appreciate all of you that show up. I mean, I'm talking YouTube again, live now. You guys are fantastic with the comments. I know a lot of you can't get into the shows while we're live. You got some jobs that are happening. You got family, you got life. So we appreciate you guys tuning in afterwards. The channel is definitely seeing some growth there. And then if you're over on X, if you're on Twitch, we appreciate you guys so much as well. We do have a special episode tomorrow.
Oof.
We will be doing, and I have to do some editing here because we have just too many collections to actually go on this Rate My Bags old school edition. So I'm gonna have to do some work. I'm gonna be putting in some crazy hours to make this happen. So hopefully you guys can appreciate that. But we are gonna have January's edition of Rate My Bags, Rate My NFTs, whatever you want to call it. We are
a couple of collections that are missing, right? Like it's insane.
Yeah.
When was the last time we did this? Like a month and a half ago?
It was. So I've been trying to get the cadence down to a month. So I believe it was like December 2nd or something like that. This was the last time we hit it. So we are going to hit that tomorrow with Gifted, with Huda, with Biggie Poppins, and myself, Nifty Q. So yeah, should be a spicy episode. You guys rock all the way through, man. Our vibe, our tribe, just fantastic. We will see you tomorrow.
Love you, fam.